Welcome 2009 belt replacement. We're going to replace the AC, the air conditioning, and the power steering belt today. First thing you want to do is pull the handle. You want to open up the engine compartment door. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go locate our negative terminal on the battery, and you're going to want to remove that first. So we'll do that. We'll be right back. Okay, you're going to need a flare wrench, 10mm. Put it on the bolt there. Break that loose. And just take that off there. The reason why you want to disconnect the battery terminal is because when you start undoing the alternator bolts, you might accidentally touch some wires down there and short circuit. This just protects your electronics. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to need to jack up the right side of the front side of the car and remove the wheel. So you're going to put your emergency brake on. Always do that when you jack the car up. Okay, so as in the other videos, you're going to place your scissor jack up between the two markings, jack up the car until the tire's off the ground, and then we're going to grab our power impact socket. It's electric. 21mm is the bolt for the tires, and we're going to zing those nuts off right now. Okay, so we're going to take our electric impact and remove these nuts. Take tire off.
See him.
What we're going to do now is, in here, we're going to remove this dust cover, this bolt here, and this bolt up here, and that'll get us access to the air conditioner belt tensioner, and we'll be able to get underneath the car there and take a look at the alternator and undo the bolt. Okay, you're going to want to jack the car up, put the scissor jack on the markings, jack it up, and see where that rubber grommet is? You're going to put your jack stand right there.
Upside down.
No, it's forward. And then that way, that just gives you double safety in case the scissor jack fails. You're going to remove your tire, and then we're going to have to remove that dust shield right there. So I'm going to remove that dust shield, we'll be right back. And also another thing too, you're going to get yourself something to lay on so you don't get dirty.
Oh.
Okay, so now that we've jack the car up and put a jack stand underneath it for safety. This 10mm bolt here, 10mm bolt there. It's going to break these loose. There we go. Take this out of there. Put this aside. Now, let's see here. Yeah, I know they're oily. Okay, so there's the alternator right there above the oil filter. First thing we want to do is we want to crack that loose. There's going to be a bolt. See that bolt that I'm pointing to with my ratchet? Right there? That's a 12mm bolt. You're going to have to break that loose and to allow the alternator to move back and forth. You can see it right there. So, and the suggested thing is you get one of these. See how that's angled? It's a lot easier to use one of those to get in there with an angle wrench and crack it loose than it is with a regular socket. So 12mm. So we're going to break that loose, and then we're pretty much done underneath the car here for now. And then we're going to go up to the top of the car. Okay, so now that we're at the top of the engine there. See that bolt right there? 12mm. You're going to break that loose first. And then there's a bolt right there. And you're going to break that loose. And that's going to push the alternator forward as you adjust that screw. And that'll allow you to get the belt off. Now, just a little word of warning here. Let's see here. There's a connector right there. You're going to want to take that off the power steering pump. And then there's another connector. Wow. Right there. That connects near the radiator fan. You're going to take those two connectors off so you can get a ratchet in there. And I suggest you use this type of ratchet, one that has a bend in head so that you can fit it down in there. Well, I can't do this while I'm filming, but the point is, you get the ratchet in there and then you crack it loose because the head bends. So you need this type of ratchet. If you don't have this ratchet, you're not going to be able to do this job. So let me break that loose and get that belt off. Okay, I mentioned the connectors. There's one right here. All you're going to do is you're going to push this button right here. There's a little tab. You push it in like this, and then you pull it out like that. And that's what I'm pushing on right there. There's a little raised plastic tab right there. You push on that. That'll disconnect both connectors. They're both the same. Same as a connector on the power steering pump. That should be right here. There's the power steering pump connector. The same thing. You push on the tab right there, and it releases. So you're going to need to remove those two connectors to get at that bolt. Back on the, you can see it bare there. Look at my wrench. There's the adjusted bolt right there. So you're going to break this one loose here on this side and then go to this bolt and start turning that bolt. And that will release the alternator belt. So let's do that right now. So there you go. There's my wrench, my ratchet. You see how it's bent? It's on that bolt. And then you're just going to break it loose like that. And like I said, there is hardly any room in here between this hose right here and the edge of the radiator fan. So you're going to need a ratchet that bends. So unless you got any other ideas how to get to that bolt, let's take this off here. I use this tool here, so you could pick this up. Different companies make these, so but I like this because this thing pivots, so it allows me to get into the hard to reach areas. And you're wondering how you're going to reach that bolt first? First you got to unlock that bolt right there where that ratchet's connected to the alternator. Best thing I found is you get an extension for your ratchet, run it across to here, and then you have a lot more movement to get at that bolt. So just a little tip to get at both bolts. Okay, so once you got this bolt loose, you can lift this bolt right out like that, and then you can push this direction to loosen up the alternator. And I want you to just put the bolt back in. That gives you some leverage to push on that alternator, push it forward. There you go, put the bolt back in. And once that's done, you go under here and test the parts. We're going to remove the power steering. Just slides off. Just on the adapter there. I'm going to take it. I'm just going to move it aside right to there. I'm going to take our coolant reservoir hose. Just push it aside so it's out of the way. And down there, where my finger is, that's the alternator. That's the pulley. So we're going to want to just grab it, feel it, and turn it. Check it for looseness. Back and forth wobble, and just turn it with your hand. And hear it. It shouldn't make any noise. It should be smooth. This is just to test the pulley. Okay, so that one looks pretty good. Or you can go as far as grabbing the stethoscope and putting it on there and turn it and listening for bearing noise. But I'm not going to do that. So that's the alternator, and that's how to remove the belt. So the next belt we're going to remove is going to be the, I believe it's the AC belt. So we're going to do that next. To show you step by step how to do that. You need to do this if you're going to do a timing belt. So refer to this video first, and then go to the time belt video when I do the time belt. This is this pulley here connected to the water pump. You're going to want to remove those 4 bolts before you undo this power steering belt. That way the bolts, it's easy to crack them loose. And both those pulleys come off if you're doing the timing belt. So, and you'll need to remove those to get this timing belt cover off, upper timing belt cover. So, but other than that, that's pretty much different. That's the only thing you're going to add if you're going to do a timing belt. So let's go to the AC belt next. Let me get the measurements for the belt first. Okay, now that the belt's off, we're going to inspect it for cracks. This belt's in still pretty good condition. I didn't see many cracks on the alternator belt. Actually, this belt's in really good condition. Let's see here. I don't see any cracks on that belt at all. I could actually reuse this belt. You know what I did was I bought 3 belts. I bought an alternator, power steering, and a AC belt. So since I got this belt off, I'm just going to put all 3 new belts on it. The car has 81,000 on it. They say they should start checking their belts at about 70,000 for cracks. Now the other belts I did, I'll cover those later in the video. They do have cracks on them, and they're really, you can really see them. So the original company name is Bando 4-pack 845, model 25212-26000. And the red numbers are LR239505152. I don't know what these numbers mean, but anyway, this is the belt that came off the car. I bought this Napa, and I'll give you the measurements: 9/16 of an inch times 33-3/4 inch O.C, or that would be 14 millimeter by 858 millimeter O.C. It's the 040332, and the little 25 in the corner there. Micro V AT alternator belt. So that's the belt. Let's go take a look at the. Let's go do the AC belt next.